it okay? All right, go here. Mitchell was sort of joking around. I guess you guys, at least in one of the practices, maybe all of them, we have this end of practice drill. And he said that after the last practice, it was offense 2, defense 1. He goes, ask him about that. So I'm asking you about that. Is that?
Yeah, we just want to create competition, different situations, whether it's, 2-minute situations, red zone, third downs. We do a variety of different things and keep track of the score. And then whoever doesn't have, whoever ends up on the short end has to do a little extra gassers, So, but they give me a hard time. Like even today, it came down to a controversial call, had to be reviewed, and the offense got the edge. And so then the defensive guys told me I was a traitor.
Who made the decision?
Well, no, I did not. So I deferred to one of our recruiting guys, and he gave me the touchdown. So I said, hey, it wasn't my call, but it will be under further review until tomorrow. But no, we have some fun with that. And a lot of it has been back and forth. Offense is winning, defense is winning, and that's what you want. Just competitive plays.
Is it like a goal line situation?
Today was red zone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different topic each game, each practice.
What was it like just being out, in San Francisco and doing all the media stuff and seeing the field and everything?
It was good. We did not get to go to the stadium. We'll do that when we get back there. But beautiful facility as far as the hotels and it's first class. I was really impressed with the way they had everything organized and different places they took us, different media outlets and the interviews. And I'm really excited for our kids to be able to go out there. They're going to really enjoy it. It's just a neat location for sure. I've never been out to San Francisco, so first time for me. I think it's going to be the first time for a lot of our guys.
How much of the balance will there be, once you get out there? You don't want to, are you going to practice a lot? Have you thought about the schedule, things like that?
We have, and it's pretty much set at this point. We're going to treat it like when we get to the bowl site, it will be like a normal Tuesday for us. It'll be our first practice. So we'll have a Tuesday, Wednesday, like we would back home, and then our Thursday, Friday will be very similar as well. So you kind of get, outside of the Monday, our day of prep is going to be a pretty full week of practice and preparation. So we'll have 2 padded practices and then a helmets only and then a walkthrough. So we'll be on really kind of a normal schedule once we get there, so which is good.
This is a great time for the kids that, the second teamers, so to speak, the red shirts to get these extra reps. What's that mean, and what have you seen in that regard?
Yeah, we really tried to work those guys in a lot. We call it developmental work and just your fundamentals. Because oftentimes those guys, they don't get a chance to run our scheme.
Sure.
They're running scout team and they run your opponent's looks each week. So it's been really good for them to even just learn the signals, know the calls. The fundamental piece though is still, basics. We're just working on tackling and shedding blocks on defense and blocking and catching the football and just doing little things right on offense. And so it's just getting our guys that don't usually get that extra work, get that time in. So it's an extra month of practice, so it's like a whole extra spring ball for your guys. And so I know that that's a huge advantage for teams that play in the bowl games, and we're going to take full advantage of it.
Are there any young guys in particular who have really been kind of standing out and really benefiting from these?
Yeah, I think Taysir Mack to me is a guy that really, as a receiver, kind of jumps out to me. I see him a little bit more because of being on the scout team offense during the season. But I think he's a guy that just as you see him growing his confidence, I think it's really, really big. And I just think even like Jerome Johnson, the big defensive lineman for us, he's continued to progress. And we got him in there against our ones and twos today. And just to see him come off the football, and he's really, really kind of figuring things out, as we like to say. So it's been good to see.
The ability to get to game speed, sometimes you'll see it because of the break when bowl teams, when they start the game, they're not quite at game speed. How do you practice that so that you guys aren't beat up, but you're ready from the opening minute to be game?
It's a balance. I've talked to other head coaches, that have had this kind of, because what it really comes down to is when do you play. So you take your game day and that date and you work backwards. And so talking to different coaches that have had this late of a bowl, and I've been in that situation as well, but not as a head coach. And so you just try to figure out a balance between making sure that you're sharp and you've had enough hitting, and you're not also kind of too much to where you're kind of a little bit tired. You don't want to be tired going to the kickoff. So I think that the real challenge is you want to make sure you're being physical, and you want to keep that. If you let up and you're not physical enough, you won't be sharp and crisp. I do think you're going to have a little bit of rust that first few drives. I think it's kind of the natural bowl because of the time off. We're going to try and do a mock game, to finish up this week, before we get into our trip. And so to me, that's going to be a way for us to be able to simulate game situations and allow us to stay sharp. So that's going to be a big plan for us.
What's the structure to that mock game? Is it kind of like a scrimmage, or how do you?
It is, in terms of it's not going to be full, live, that kind of regard, but it's going to be situations. We're going to kick the ball off and do a couple, just try and create as many situations as you can. It gives you a chance to work on those for sure, and also gets to, even for us, just from me managing, as a head coach, from being the defensive coordinator. So we're going to work through all those decisions that have to be made, fourth downs, and when the punt team comes in and off the field, and when the defense transitions, offense transitions, and even some of those unique situations like what happened in the Purdue game where we got 11 seconds to go in the game and you're trying to run the clock out, and it kind of looked a little bit different than you usually work on it, with your normal punter because of the time that was on the clock and the distance and where the ball was located. So trying to brainstorm for things like that to be able to work on and be crisp and sharp for kickoff.
You've always obviously glanced at the offenses, being a DC, but now talk to me a little about how multiple defensively Utah looks to you as you keep feeding the guys info.
Yeah, the biggest thing that jumps out to me is their defensive line. They're really talented. And they got one guy's got 14 half sacks, one of the top in the country. I think he might be number one. But just the whole group is kind of rotate them in, and because of that pressure that they apply and how good they are up front, they've got a lot of interceptions, because of their safeties. And they're basically going to be, I wouldn't say that they're complex in a lot of ways, but it kind of fits their style. They're fundamental, extremely talented. They play really, really hard. He's as a defensive-minded head coach, which Coach Whittingham is. I think he plays great defense. They're really, really good on special teams, and they have an offense that allows them to run the football and play action off the run. So it's a really good combination, I think, and that allows them to be in every game, and it allows them to be able to, in their mind, play championship-level football. And they were, at one point in the season, 7-1, and really in the mix to be, conference champs and trying to get to the playoffs. And so that was really where they'd positioned themselves. And so that's the kind of team you're playing, and a very high caliber football team.
We have faced so many good defenses. Are they comparable to, anyone in our league that brings
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's interesting when we talk about them being similar to Nebraska on offense. I think you can almost say the same thing defensively, in the style that they play. And I just think that they're a very, very good football team. And so we see a lot of good defenses in our league. So I think our guys are going to, be able to transfer that to what we've seen. But anytime you're good up front, I mean, that to me is a tribute to the way they've recruited and the way that they coach their guys. But it gives them a distinct advantage.
From a recruiting standpoint, just how beneficial are these extra practices, bowl practices in particular, where you can, if you're hosting prospective players, you can show them this on it?
Yeah, it allowed us, especially now, it's gone dead now, so players can't come and watch. But when it was the contact period, which we just came through, it was great to have them here, because they come on these visits and they come for the weekend and be able to get these guys here. And it was so neat for them to see us in this kind of mode, because before, you come for spring ball, it's not quite the same. And even just to have them comment, I brought them all together and say, hey, what did you think? What did you see? And so just their perspective on it and be able to kind of, use that, and just give them a chance to talk and see. And they want to see, I want to be able to give them a snapshot. Hey, what's it going to be like to be a student athlete here? What's it going to be like to play football here? And be able to see us practice with their own eyes, I think is huge in our favor, because I think the way we practice is so high energy and so intense, and we're so physical. And that's the thing they noticed.
Coach, what does it mean to have a first-team All-American and all that comes from that marketing of that?
It does. It's a tribute to the way we've developed our guys. And I think that's with Coach Fry, the way he's done that, with the culture he's created on the offensive line, the expectation that's if you come here, you're going to have that opportunity. And just to look at a guy like that, it's you look at our history, and to have it back to back, I think it's only happened with 4 people. So pretty special. So I think that it's a great, honor to him personally. It's a great honor for our program and to what has been established here. Obviously, Coach Wilson's a huge part of that, and Coach Fry for sure, and then the whole offense. It's a team award, as we tell our guys, and I think Dan would be the first one to tell you that. And then you got a couple guys recognized yesterday, with McCoy and Marcelino, being able to be named freshman All-American. So it's really once again a tribute to recruiting and being able to, once they get here, show that freshmen have opportunities if they take advantage of them.
You talk about Marcelino, and he was wired the first game down at Florida Atlantic. Talk about just how much he has improved and really what he's brought.
Yeah, that's one thing, because every week when I would meet with the whoever was doing the game, you know, first the color commentary guys, they would always ask about him. You know, he kind of stuck out obviously on film, and you know, what made him different. And I said, well, you know, he showed up different. You know, I mean, when he walked on campus, he had a different look in his eye. You know, he had a maturity about him, even though he was young in his age. But you know, he came here to play. You know, he came with the mindset that he wanted to be the guy. Now he had to earn it. You know, we told him in recruiting that he would have the opportunity to compete for a chance to play. We thought he could, you know, but that was up to him. And so, you know, to me, it's a, you know, the thing that was impressed me about him is the ability to keep doing it over and over again. You can kind of start fast. You know, everybody's excited, it's fresh, and you're not beat up, and the season, you know, is upon you early. But then as it wears on against our schedule, the quality of opponents we play in the Big Ten, how physical they are, for him to just keep bringing it week after week and really not dropping off, but actually getting better, I think is really, really impressive for him, and just a tribute to his focus. You know, now he's got the challenge of, you know, you got a little recognition. How do you handle success? You know, I talked to that today about him. And I said, too much is given, much is required, and how he handles himself and the way he prepares. You know, even now, post getting some recognition and all that as he moves forward as a leader on our team in the future. So I just think that it's, you know, he's a guy we identified early. We thought he was pretty special and recruited him, and that proved to be true.